One of the products that continues to gain momentum is soy-based biodiesel. And to talk about it, a Nebraska farmer and member of the National Biodiesel Board, Greg Anderson from Newman Grove. Greg, as we talk about biodiesel, good news from sea to shining sea. Let's first go out west.
Well, true, Ken. We're talking about biodiesel having tremendous success from coast to coast. And as you said, out west, it's really starting to take off. California is a large energy state, and they have lots of problems with emissions. I remember my first trip to California back in the 80s, and being in Los Angeles, I couldn't believe the smog. So I knew they had a long-term problem. But they're addressing it, and with biodiesel's environmental properties and really how it cleans up the air, they're interested in using more and more of it. And so with legislation and with just using more biodiesel, they're starting to do that. It's really expanding that market. Not too long away, we can see potentially 600 million gallons there. Now, that's about a third of our whole nationwide biodiesel production. Also, along up the coast, Oregon, same way. They're incorporating more of energy independence, but primarily emissions and clean air.
We'll talk about the Midwest in just a little bit, but let's go again. This time of the year, a lot of focus goes to the Northeast.
Yes, as people get their heavy coats on and heating oil season starts, heating oil is big out in the Northeast. Most of the homes and businesses heat with oil heat, and now it's bioheat. It's actually biodiesel blended into heating oil, termed bioheat, and being used. New York City is a champion there. They have mandate 2%. They're going to up that to 5%. And now with ASTM standard accepting a 6 to 20% inclusion rates, this is going to be a springboard into huge amounts of biodiesel being used in heating oil all throughout the Northeast. We've seen it used in several states as well as in the cities, big time there, airports, port authority, sanitation systems, as well as oil heat. So it's a big market.
Dare I say, not only is it economical, but it also helps meet the regulations, but in a sense, it also is a roundabout way to build goodwill with soybean farmers and folks that live in the cities.
Absolutely, because we see these oil heat dealers, they're mom and pop generational oil heat dealers. Their grandfathers delivered coal, their fathers delivered oil heat, and now the son is taking over the business, and it's a bioheat business. And so they're long-term, just like many Nebraska farmers are and Midwestern farmers are. And they depend on the weather, really, to support. They need cold weather to support more sales. We depend on our weather for good crops. And so there's a lot of synergy there, a lot of common links, and it's really promoting America and good for our country.
Let's go back to the Midwest. For a long time, that theme has been farmers need to use it as well, and we continue to see adaptation and usage grow on the farm.
It certainly is, Ken. We're seeing farmers, not only adapting, but being biodiesel champions and using the fuel that they grow. It's a no-brainer. It's really exciting to know that as I harvest my soybean crop, I'm really also looking not only at a protein meal side, but I'm looking at an oil field. And I have oil fields all around me, and it's there. Last year we used about 25% of our oil from the soybean into domestic crush into biodiesel. That's huge. And I can only see that growing. And we need that to help support our soybean prices. We have a lot of soybeans in the world, and this helps tremendously.
Well, then let's talk about those oil fields. How was harvest this year in your part of the world, northeast Nebraska?
I had the best soybean crop I ever had, and really the weather was great. Didn't have any disease or insect pressure. Ample rains. You really couldn't tell the difference between irrigated or dryland fields because of timely rains all throughout the growing season. So we're thankful for that. And the price isn't quite what it was a year or two ago, but yet the extra bushels do help. And underpinning that again is biodiesel, which creates that demand for that soybean oil. It also helps the livestock producer because we're crushing more beans for meal now and oil, and we're seeing more meal on the market at a lower price, and so that helps the livestock people out too.
All right, Greg, thanks for the update. Good to see you.
Thank you, Ken.
Greg Anderson, farmer from Newman Grove, Nebraska, member of the National Biodiesel Board. That's the Ag View. I'm Ken Rogers.